Am I the asshole? Canceling the Barbie movie date with BF. The Barbie movie means a lot to me. F22. I've been looking forward to this movie for so long. I've asked my boyfriend M27 to go to the cinema with me. Both dressed in pink. It would show that he supports me. And it'd just be fun. He agreed to watch the movie with me. But not in pink. I told him wearing pink is minimum effort. He says minimum effort is him coming along to the movie. Am I the asshole for finding this unreasonable? All my friends' boyfriends did it. Even my dad and brother would. I wanted to make a whole event out of it. Take pics at the booth, etc. The pics would be for our eyes only. Not social media. We've decided to cancel the date since the mood is already ruined. Despite what the title says. We've made this decision together. Edit, not asking for a lot here. Just a pink shirt or something. Edit 2. If my BF would ask me to wear those hats worn in Oppenheimer to the cinema, I would do it in a heartbeat. This is a post that could only be written by someone under 25. I would really encourage you to ask yourself why the demonstration if his love and care for you is wearing the color pink to a movie he's already going to solely for you. Does he not show you he cares in any other way, so you're grasping at straws to prove his love in some way? Are you being unnecessarily dramatic and immature and attaching some meaning to this action that there doesn't need to be? Nah. You asked him to get into it and have your kind of fun with the movie. Since he declined, go with someone who feels similarly about the movie as you do. Info. Does he have to buy something pink? Honestly, if he's not even willing to indulge you and wear pink, he would probably hate the movie. I thought it was great though. Man shrugging, medium dark skin tone. Nah. But you will be the asshole if you continue to get mad. Personally, I don't think it would be a big deal to throw on a pink shirt. But if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it. He's not Ken. He's not your accessory and he doesn't have to match you. Some people just aren't into dressing up. It's a bummer, but ultimately you're the asshole. Info. Why does he need to show support at a movie? Not the asshole for sure, since he already owns a pink shirt. Honestly, I can't for the life of me figure out why he wouldn't want to wear it himself. My BF and I had lots of fun showing up in pink outfits despite both of us having to dig deep in our closets to find something of the color. Pretty much everyone worldwide was wearing pink. It's cool if he doesn't want to participate, IG, but like, why lol? You're the asshole. How is your BF turning up to a movie wearing pink showing support? It's just a movie, not a rally. Info. Does he own pink? If he owns pink and you're just asking him to wear it that day, he kind of sucks for saying no. If he doesn't own pink and would have to go out and buy something that he'd hate and never wear again, then you kind of suck for pushing it. But overall, canceling was the easiest option. I am going with my sister and mom, just waiting for sister to get back from a trip, and made it clear to them they both have to wear pink. But they both own it and wear it often enough so it's not a big deal. Nah. But I wouldn't marry anyone who didn't share my sense of fun. Not because they're wrong, but because that's a basic compatibility issue. IMHO. My 70-year-old hubs is still a very merry person. Even after 40 years of marriage, I just asked him whether he'd be willing to wear pink to the Barbie movie. And he instantly said sure. You're the asshole. It would show that he cares and supports me by wearing a color. Am I the asshole for finding this unreasonable? You are unreasonable. Are you sure you're 22? You sound more like you're 12. Not the asshole. I wore a pink shirt when I took my daughter to Barbie. Both dressed in pink. It would show that he cares and supports me. You're the asshole, and that's a ridiculous statement. I'm going against the grain here. Wearing a pink shirt isn't going to kill him. And people acting like it is weird. It's not a huge ask. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I believe this post has been brigaded or something. I can't believe you're the asshole is so popular. You just asked him to wear a certain color of shirt. It's no different than if you were going to a themed party and asked him to dress for the theme. I personally take this to my heart. My friends tried to watch the Barbie movie with me and cancelled without me knowing. And we were going in roller skates. The fact that I showed up in neon yellow roller skates with bright pink wheels. A pink shirt is nothing. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Also, Jesus H. Christ. The number of dudes in this thread who seem to think their dick will fall off if they wear pink or are seen enjoying anything perceived as even remotely feminine. You're the asshole. Sorry. I loved the movie. And my partner wore pink. But because he wanted to. Making someone wear something they don't want to wear is a huge red flag and very problematic. Does he own a pink shirt? Because if he does and won't wear it, that's kind of a he's tar. If he doesn't, there's no need for him to go out and get a shirt. Now. Yes. Minimum effort is going to the movie. But why is sharing something with his partner a minimum effort? I don't like a lot of movies, but I still go with my partner because he enjoys them. I don't make a deal or fuss. Is this the first time he's refused to do more than the minimum for you? How often does he say, well, at least I came along? Go with your dad and brother instead and have fun, not the asshole. You both are ridiculous. Not the asshole. He sounds fragile. But also, it sounds like he didn't even want to go. So I'd plan a fun day with some friends to go see it. You are not the R. My wife used to do Renaissance fairs and that kind of stuff. She still likes dressing up now and then, so we do it for Halloween and other parties now and then. It's not my thing. But it makes her happy, so I go along with it and do it happily. What's the problem with dressing up if it makes someone you care about happy? Not the asshole. It's a fun idea. Any guy so that can't wear pink once for a big event has a lot insecurity and fears about what other people think. Enjoy the movie with your friends or family. Please get him a hoodie that says I am Keno to keep him warm while you go out and have fun. I was with a drag for WAAAY too long before I realized that I am an enthusiastic participant at heart, and he always made me feel lame when I just wanted to join the fun. Not the asshole. You're the asshole. What a stupid post. He sounds boring and uninvested. It's not just about the shirt. It's about investing interest into your partner and what they like. I couldn't care less about sports. But I learn soccer and basketball stuff for my wife because I love her and want to show interest. A pink shirt won't kill him. Find someone who matches the effort you put in. Not the asshole. I don't know. Not the asshole. And why don't you proceed to watch them with your dad and brother in pink? Take tons of pictures and post them. Be petty a little bit. Not the asshole. Given he already owns a pink shirt, doesn't have a problem wearing pink. It's a weird flex considering it's not that much of an effort and all the other girls BFS that you guys know did it, so it's not like he'd be standing out. You seem like a weird person. Am I the asshole? For telling everyone exactly why I allowed at my cousin's wedding. I 20 female have a cousin 23 female who just got married to her boyfriend of about 2 years 21 male. He proposed to her about 4 months ago and they had their wedding 3 days ago. One thing about me and her husband, we dated in high school for about 2 years. We broke up on good terms, we just didn't feel in love with each other anymore and we stayed good friends, and then in college my cousin saw him at a party and then started going out a few months later. I was fine with them being together as I have no romantic feelings for him anymore. My cousin found out him and I dated in high school because one of our mutual friends was making a joke about how he was moving, though our family, I didn't tell her because we weren't that close. I thought she might be a little shocked, but get over it. Oh man, I was wrong. And then 2 days before the wedding I asked her what time it's on. She just looked at me and said, "Oh, sorry girl, you're not coming." Of course I asked her why. She just answered, "Look, you've put me through enough hurt knowing you're in love with my man. Just be a good cousin for once and stop trying to steal him if I don't want you at the wedding because you've had an intimate relationship with my future husband. Just respect that." I felt so hurt because I spent lots of unpaid time helping her and I spent my own money on her wedding and now she won't even let me go. So I got pissed and left. Then I sent a text to her saying I want my money back. She said no. I said if she doesn't give me my money back right now, then I'm telling everyone why I'm not able to go to her wedding. Keep in mind I spent hundreds of dollars on her wedding. She still said no, I'm not giving it back. You can tell them I don't care. So I did. I was pissed and hurt she would do that to me. At this point there is 1 day until the wedding and I post on Instagram I let my cousin date my ex-boyfriend. Tomorrow is their wedding and I'm not allowed to go because I was with him first. She saw that along with loads of other people from my family. They knew it was about her. The family was super mad with her for that and she came crying to my apartment calling me a no good beeping snake. She told me that because I was such an asshole people were dropping out of the wedding. I didn't mean that to happen. Am I the asshole? Okay, I got comments about this that made me realized my storytelling is crap, so here you go. 1. Letting them date. Okay, I don't mean it like that. I don't believe I own him. It's just I wanted to try make what I did seem justified, but it's not, and that was wrong of me. 2. Family dropping out. Just found out only my parents and siblings left. 3. Her BF jumping from family members being an asshole move. He didn't know we were cousins until we met at a family party and I said it was fine when he asked. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Not the asshole. If she doesn't want to invite you to her wedding, that's her prerogative. However, it's a fucking asshole move to also not return your money after you spent time and money helping her. She deserved what she got. Not the asshole. If you wanted him and truly loved him and vice versa, it would have been your wedding. But you guys split years ago with no lingering feelings and no regrets. She has no reason to behave this way. Info. What do you mean by I spent hundreds of dollars on her wedding? What on? Not the asshole. It's her husband's fault for not saying anything while they were dating. Info. You mentioned in a comment that the friend told your cousin the same night you found out about the relationship. When was this? If she knew about it months ago but then waited until 2 days before the wedding to tell you that you aren't invited, that's messed up. If you didn't know that she was marrying your ex and you both found out just days before the wedding, that's on the ex. I'm sure he knew at some point and should have said something. You are not the asshole. Let her wedding burn for all you care. All you asked for was your money back and she said no, tell them, and you did. She fucked around and found out. Info: how long has it been since she found out you two dated? How long had they been dating by then? What has the vibe been like when you've hung out since she's known you? Say you've been helping her with the wedding. Has she been friendly and talked like you would be attending? What did you spend money on? And was it money she asked you to spend? I have way too many questions. This post makes no sense. But I approve of your level of petty. Wasn't a fan of the wording "I let my cousin date," but the whole thing got your point across. Tears of joy, tears of joy. Everyone is the asshole here. And I'm having trouble believing a college student wrote this hot mess of a post. Not the asshole also. Let people know she won't return your money. I'm a bit confused. You said in the post you aren't that close. So what was all the unpaid planning and money you spent on the wedding? I don't get why someone would want a person they're not close with to plan their wedding. Or why you do it. And you haven't said what specifically you were owed money for. Not the asshole. It's totally normal in my opinion to not want you in the wedding. But to allow you to pay for it and not willing to pay you back, that's petty. Not the asshole but grammar. Not the asshole but your cousin sure is. Fake. Info: did you finish collage? You might want to read a book or something. The punctuation in this post was awful. Could barely read it. Info: why were you asking what time the wedding is 2 days before? Did you not receive an invitation to the wedding? Those are sent months in advance. And because you posted a very weird story on Instagram, people started dropping out of the wedding. Like, people in the wedding party. Why would they do that? And if you're not close with her, why were you helping pay for the venue and her dress, etc.? This sounds incredibly fake and makes little to no sense. If your cousin had not involved you in the pre-wedding activities, including actual money you spent, and suddenly found out about the relationship on the eve of the wedding, maybe she'd have a reason to be upset and possibly justified in her decision. However, she knowingly, systemically, misled and used you as resource for the wedding. You gave her an option to recover your investment. Unfortunately, you can recover your time without repercussions. She declined. And now she's feeling those repercussions. Not the asshole. Fake, desperate, and poorly written. This sub fell off. Man. If you want to make up some story, at least attempt some punctuation and maybe a proofread or 5. Especially proofread the title next time. Info: hey OP, are we just randomly creating new stories until one actually gets posted to the subreddit, or am I misreading your 3 random posts within an hour of each other? Drastically different titles. Or did we just discover Reddit and decide to go wild? Lol. I'm gonna say not the asshole Bekuase. For one, you told her that you would tell everyone and she didn't care. Also, if she wanted to univite you, that's up to her. But then she should give you your money back. Also, her trying to say you are still in love with him and trying to steal him is so childish. It was high school and she's acting like y'all are still in high school. You should have focused less on your cousin's husband and more on spelling, punctuation and grammar when you were in high school. But you are not the asshole. She was a complete asshole. You are a complete asshole. Also, go back to grammar school. Please. Maybe it'll help you mature and improve your atrocious command of the English language. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole? for telling my sister-in-law that she didn't actually run a marathon. I've been a runner for as long as I can remember. I absolutely love it. I want running to continue growing as a competitive activity and as a just-for-fun hobby. I encourage and support newcomers to running. But recently I encountered a situation where I felt gatekeeping was necessary. My sister-in-law got into running last year. And she absolutely fell in love with it as well. Since I am also a runner, I decided I could connect with her on the topic. I wanted to hear about her runs, her progress, and maybe offer some helpful guidance if she wanted it. So, at a family gathering I asked her about running. After a bit of conversation, she mentioned to me that she ran a marathon. I was quite surprised. She ran a marathon after only getting into running a year ago. That is amazing. What incredible dedication and drive, I thought to myself. I was about to praise her for this incredible accomplishment. But then she explained this marathon in detail. It was a virtual marathon that she started late last year and apparently completed this year. Basically, it was an app-based event where you tally up your running distances until you reach 42.2 kilometers, 26.2 miles. I chuckled slightly and told her that it's great she totaled 42.2 kilometers in that time frame. But it doesn't count as a marathon. I told her that marathons have time limits for completion. Usually 6 to 8 hours. If they didn't, then I could claim multiple ultra-marathons via the aggregate distances I ran in my life. It's disingenuous and, in my opinion, undermines those who have actually ran a marathon. She didn't take this well. She called me an asshole, a bully, an elitist, and a few other things. I apologized for upsetting her, but I stand by what I said. She didn't run a marathon. I didn't press the subject at all and left it at that. She wouldn't speak to me the rest of the gathering. My wife agrees with me. Despite not being a runner herself, she said her sister overreacted. Their mother said that I should have just let my sister-in-law believe that she ran a marathon. Maybe. I don't. Is 23 years old. Without any impairments. Validating her marathon would feel similar to lying to a child to boost their confidence. The difference is, she is not a child. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. She didn't run a marathon. According to Apple Health, over the past 26 weeks, I've averaged 5.1 miles a day. Does that mean I'm walking a marathon every 6 days? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Not the asshole. Saying I ran a marathon implies that you completed the whole distance in the same day, not that you did a mile a day on an installment plan. Otherwise, I climb Mount Everest every year on my stairs. Info. You are right and she is wrong. That is pretty cut and dry. However, that doesn't mean you didn't handle that specific scenario like an asshole. If that makes sense. Bit confused about people's judgments here. But personally, I'm gonna say not the asshole. Yeah. It was wrong to laugh. But you did apologize for hurting her feelings afterwards. At the end of the day, you just explained what an actual marathon was to her. And she way overreacted. As you said, validating what she thought of as a marathon is like lying to a child to boost their confidence. Not the asshole. She didn't run a marathon. Full stop lol. Anyone who thinks otherwise is just living in fantasy land where you make the facts up as you go. Goofy. 26 miles in a year. She could literally have done that just walking to the fridge and toilet. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I know lots of marathon runners. I'm offended on their behalf. If she would have said I got this new app and it's tracking me through the length of a marathon. It's great motivation that would have been different. She is phrasing it the way she is to get the accolades with none of the work. If any of my friends' family told me that, I would have been making jokes at their ridiculousness. If she ran it over a year, that's less than a kilometer a week. She did not run a marathon. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. I agree with you 100. Either your Sil genuinely did not know what a marathon is, or she knew yet nevertheless decided to misrepresent her accomplishment. In either case, you were right to correct her. If she didn't know, then you helped educate her on a key term in our sport. If she did know, she should be called out for the reasons you gave. As an endurance runner myself, I find her statement embarrassing. The better approach is to say that she ran a marathon distance over X days. Your chuckle wasn't nice, but you're not wrong. It's not a marathon. Not the arsehole. My dad used to run marathons. He even ran 3 Boston marathons you have to qualify for. He ran 10 total. He's in his mid-70s now and still in pretty damn good shape. I used to run before I started having knee problems, adding up my 5 kilometers here and 2 kilometers there until they reached 42 is nowhere near what my dad did. He ran marathons. I did not. She explained the details. She knows this is different than a real marathon. An appropriate response would be, "Oh, I thought you meant a marathon race, but that's great you reached a marathon distance. What are you training for next?" Not the arsehole at all. The "you're the arsehole" responses are way off base. Your Sil ran a marathon. In chunks. Over the course of a year, there's nothing wrong with that. But it is not the same as powering through 26.2 miles in one go. She's 23. Not 3. Her reaction to what sounds like a friendly factual correction is stupid and immature. Not the arsehole. Someone once said they were training for a marathon. I later found out it was a 5 kilometers option that was part of the race weekend. Not a marathon. Claiming you've ran a marathon when you actually did a smaller distance race is just discrediting the achievement of people who have run marathons. I've ran 4 half marathons. I don't say I've run 4 marathons or 2 marathons. By your SIL's understanding, I ran like 2 marathons a month in peak training season. Face with rolling eyes. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. By her logic, most people could brag about completing a few marathons a year total walking distance. Lol, I can understand she wanted to brag and you burst her balloon. I have learnt the hard way to let people do or say what they want until they ask for my advice or hurting someone else. Not the arsehole. She did not run a marathon. Not the arsehole for telling her it's not the same thing. But your attitude is bad. This is one of those times when you can choose to be right or you can choose to be supportive. If your goal is to encourage and support newcomers, you chose incorrectly. You could have easily chosen "That's awesome. I was training for a marathon next year. Do you want to train with me?" What a ridiculous comment section. A marathon is a specific length. I'm not able to lift 10 tons. Just because I have lifted 10 tons in the span of a year. I didn't write Kafka's Transformation. Just because I have used all the words in my life, which make up the whole book. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. She didn't run a marathon. Am I the arsehole for denying an older woman shelter from a storm? I am an avid hiker in Australia. Last week I encountered a middle-aged woman, around 50 years old, as I was coming off a trail. She was walking in my direction as I came out of the bush. It was strange to see her. The sun was almost down and the weather was starting to turn. Also, this was an intermediate collection of trails at best. Difficult even for me at worst, and she didn't look super athletic. Point is, my weird radar was going off already. She walked up to me and stopped. Standing too close for my comfort. Gestured toward the clearing where my car was parked. And asked whether it was my car. No greeting or anything. When I looked over, something made me uncomfortable. There were no cars other than mine in sight. The trail I was on isn't crazy far from civilization, but it's not a walk away one of those highway rest stops that's there for the trail and a few parking spots. No way she could have got there without driving. I let her know that, yes, it was my car. To which she responded something like, perfect. There's a storm coming. I can't be caught in it, and I need to get home. She was very matter of fact. It seemed like she had already decided what would happen. Without waiting for my response, she started striding for my car. I am glad I always lock my doors, because she would have hopped right in the passenger seat had the door opened. As she was walking over to it, I went after her, trying to explain that I wasn't sure it was a good idea for her to hitch a ride. Asking why she was out here in the first place. I was talking to a brick wall until she realized the car was locked. At which point she turned around with this look of anger and frustration on her face. She starts ranting the same stuff as before. I need to get home. A storm is coming. I cannot be caught in it. Why don't you get it? I was very confused at this point. And a little scared. As this woman was now a barrier between me and my vehicle. I told her something like, I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable with having a stranger in my car. She stared me down for a few seconds. I guess trying to gauge her chances at asking again. And just like that, the anger drops from her face and she's silent. I was really uncomfortable. I asked if I could call someone. If there was another way to help. She starts walking towards me, scary. But then right past me. I'm still asking her questions. Then just saying things like hello and excuse me. No response. She walked to the other end of the rest stop and maintained eye contact with me as she sat down on a log. Then just stared at nothing. I didn't follow her. I got into my car really shaken up and drove away. As soon as I was back in cell range, I called fire and rescue. They said they would send someone out. I was scared for my safety in the moment. But she was just some woman alone in the middle of nowhere. Am I the asshole for refusing this strange woman a ride? Shelter in my car. Not the asshole. The gift of fear is a real thing. Not the asshole. I think calling fire and rescue was a kind thing to do. Not the asshole. You called for assistance for her as soon as you were able. Good. Was there a storm coming? It would be an indicator if the woman was more or less stable mentally. I can tell her attitude rattled you. You don't owe some random demanding woman a ride. Ever. But, was a storm coming? That was weird. Why didn't she just ask properly? Not the asshole. I wouldn't have taken her either. And it's not like you left her there to die. You called the authorities so that they could go and take her home. Not the asshole, of course. In my country, women are sometimes the bait for traps like this. Someone could have been hiding and waiting for you to open your car so they can steal it. Also, you called services to pick her up. I think you went above and beyond. Not the asshole. You did the right thing. What a scary situation. And calling fire and rescue was a much better option than having this woman in your car. I felt as if I were reading the beginning of a horror story for a minute there. Not the asshole at all. It's great that you called fire and rescue. Stay safe out there. Not the asshole. You don't just walk up to a stranger's car and try to get in. Very worrying behavior. Sure, she might have been innocent and normal. But given how she acted, she also might not have been. Sounds like you made a reasonable judgment based on those odds. And beyond that, you called for help for her afterwards. Good on you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole could have been a lot of things. On drugs. Mentally unstable. Planning something evil. Dementia. Knows. Not the asshole. It's better to be safe than sorry in those situations. She could have been genuinely in need, but I wouldn't have let her in my car with that kind of behavior. Not the asshole op. Getting a stranger inside your car in the middle of nowhere doesn't sound like a smart idea. Had I been in your position, I would have done the same op. Intar. Honestly, I'd be worried she was a bait person for trafficking or that she was trying to steal your car. Info. Did she offer you a rose in exchange for shelter? Did you turn into a beast when you said no? Stranger. Danger. Don't be a statistic. Move along. You did what you could. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This is giving strange X-Files vibes. How did this woman get in the middle of nowhere? Did someone drive her there and leave her? Is she an alien? WTF, this has serial killer vibes written all over it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You aren't required to help anyone do anything. Also, that situation sounds super sketchy. I also would have refused. It's good you called someone though afterwards. Not the asshole. You called the fire and rescue. She sounded scary. I feel shivers just listening to this. Not the asshole. Your safety is always first. It's all well and good to help people. But if they're exhibiting erratic behavior like that, you have every right to act accordingly. Calling someone to check on her was the best course of action. Not the asshole. Best case scenario, she got woefully lost, was anxious, and saw you as a lifesaver. She was too upset to realize how she was presenting to others and came across as a weirdo. Worst case scenario, she is a crazy weirdo or part of a group of people with bad intentions. Asking if you could call for help while not letting her in your car was the right move. Not the asshole. I occasionally pick up hitchhikers or people with broken down cars because I live in a mountainous area where there are long stretches of road with no cell reception. But I gauge situations carefully. This sends up so many red flags. I absolutely wouldn't let that woman in my car. And you were kind enough to call help for her. In case it really was an emergency. You did the right thing here. Not the asshole. You acted wisely. And held your ground even though you were unnerved. You even took the extra step to make sure emergency services could help her. Well done. Op. Was she even alive? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This had to either be a ghost or you were gonna get a mini documentary on Dateline. Not the asshole. If you had driven off without calling fire rescue, you would have been. But you did what you could to keep both of you safe. Not the asshole. The whole thing sounds super weird. A hiker doesn't just find themselves in the middle of the outback without their own transport. My first thought would have been, where is her vehicle? Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to not take so many photos when we are out together? My M24 girlfriend F24 recently became interested in photography after being gifted a camera. At first I thought it was great. She found a new hobby and was supportive of it. But things have gotten a bit much. Whenever we go out anywhere, she brings her camera and stops every minute to take photos of flowers, people's houses, street lamps, rubbish, literally anything. It gets annoying because I always have to wait for her to stop taking photos. Or if I walk on eventually, she acts like she doesn't even notice and makes no effort to walk alongside me. It's also pretty embarrassing when she's stood outside someone's house for 5 minutes trying to get a perfect shot. Like if someone did that outside my house, I'd find it creepy or think they were planning a robbery. She also is trying out street photography where you take candid shots of people. I understand it's a legitimate type of photography, but it makes me uncomfortable when she takes photos of random strangers when she's with me. She is not very discreet about it, and when I ask if she's concerned about people knowing she's taken their photo, she just says she's legally allowed to do so. That may be so, but I find it a bit rude or weird to do it without their permission, especially when she posts the photos on an Instagram account. I told my girlfriend what I thought the other day because I just wanted to run errands with her, without always stopping so she can take photos. I told her there's nothing wrong with her hobby, but that it's getting a bit annoying when we are out together. She got really upset, saying she's found something she's passionate about and wishes I took more of an interest. She also thought I was mocking her, which wasn't my intention. She is being withdrawn and distant, and I feel I was a bit harsh. I don't want to stop her from doing something she enjoys or put her down, but at the same time it was just getting a bit frustrating. Am I an unsupportive asshole? Not the asshole. Sometimes you just want to walk to the store and get milk and burger buns without stopping 20 feet for a dozen photos. Not the asshole. While you should support her hobby, that doesn't mean every waking moment needs to be spent taking photographs. Also, I agree with you about the candid shots. It's intrusive. It would make sense that she take pictures sometimes while at other times leaving the camera at home so that she can focus on spending time with you or doing other things besides photography. Not the asshole. She's essentially forcing all of your together time to be her hobby time. That's not cool. Info: has she checked whether what she's doing is legal where you are? Because where I live, there are some distinctions. I.e., taking photos of strangers in public is allowed, but you need to get their consent to share the photos. Also, I believe it is also illegal to take photos of strangers in their homes for privacy concerns. I think you're coming from a good place though. But she needs to understand that there's a proper place, time and way of pursuing her hobby. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She sounds like she's found something she enjoys, which is nice. That said, I've been known to dive head first into a hobby and block things or people out. And that's not good. Perhaps you could offer to take a trip specifically for photography, like a park or botanical garden, and she can explore the hobby at more appropriate times like that. Not the asshole. UGF is tar for taking people's photos without their consent and posting them. For the other excessive photography, she probably is just excited about the new hobby. You can try communicating with her and have specific days time where you both are just going out without the camera. Not the asshole. You aren't saying she can't do her hobby, just asking that she not do it every second while you two are together. Also, I do not like the street photography thing. Not the asshole. Regardless of any ethical issues of taking pics of people or private property without consent, This sounds exasperating to deal with on the regular. A one-time cool event for photos. Like a hot air balloon festival or something. I'd give some grace and be patient. But every single time you go in public. That's exhausting. Not the asshole. It makes you uncomfortable and that's perfectly fine. She can do her hobby on her own time. While she is allowed to photograph people in public. If she is posting them and the people are recognizable, there could be a problem. My photography and the law class was long ago. But she may want to check out current law on the subject. Not the asshole. My daughter is a photographer. She doesn't take photos of people without asking and doesn't invade the privacy of people's homes. She doesn't take her pro camera everywhere. On every outing. I went with her on photo shoots twice to a historic area. She warned me beforehand it was a photo shoot and I need to be patient. Which I was. Because I knew what I was getting into. It's fun to watch a talented artist at work. But not all the freaking time. I don't blame you for being bothered. Not the asshole. You just need to mix it up a bit. Start making special trips out together just for her to take photos. Go to a park or flower garden and just stroll around while you talk about your day week. Let her take all the time she wants because you don't really have a destination or a timeline. Part of the adventure could be you trying to surprise her with good locations. So propose a compromise. That you will occasionally take her out for photography sessions if she doesn't take as many pictures when you are out trying to get errands done. Not the asshole. My partner is also a photographer on the side. At first it was very annoying. Constantly stopping and waiting. I brought a book with me once on a walk and he was shocked. He said, "I'm so sorry. I didn't really think. Is this boring for you?" And I explained. It's not boring all the time, but every single walk is a bit much for me. Just explain that whilst you are happy she's found a passion. Could you please have camera walks and non-camera walks? Or meet her after she's been out with the camera, as it's unfair to you and your time. Not the asshole. I hate people with no concept of others' emotions. I'm a 6 blonde woman and in my area. I'm a rare Pokemon. So I get a lot of stares. It makes me feel gross. Especially because some people stare with their mouths open. It took a while for me to feel okay going out and being looked at. I would feel so sad to see a woman with a camera snapping photos of me when I'm just trying to have a nice time out. You think I'm a freak show lady? I stand out. But that doesn't give you permission to get close and take Insta pictures to make you feel like an artist. Not the asshole. I run a small YouTube channel about a video game my significant other is not remotely interested in. I do not ask him to watch it or be in the room with me while I'm recording or streaming. And I try to not record or stream while he is doing something around the house that would disturb. It's great your GF found a hobby she's passionate about. But she doesn't need to involve you in it and she can pursue it without you around. In fact, it's perfectly healthy for her to do so. You are altering your life constantly to please her. What is she doing for you? Your new hobby is walking rapidly without stopping or conversation. Good exercise. Not the asshole. She is violating societal rules. Yes, she is legally allowed to take pictures. But that doesn't mean someone won't try to kick your ass over it at some point. She needs to pursue her hobby in a more socially acceptable manner. Am I the asshole for making my husband a vegan dinner even though he's completely against becoming one? I and my husband have been happily married for a little over a year now. We met through a mutual friend and he learned very quickly that I am a vegan. About a year after we met and got closer, we started dating. He had no issues with me being vegan, but made it very clear that I couldn't force him into being a vegan, which I respected. I haven't ever put him down for eating meat in front of me, as that is his choice. Each to their own. We even served both vegan and meat-inclusive food at our wedding to accommodate both of our families. Up till now, everything was great. However, recently I've been seeing a ton of vegan recipes on my Pinterest and decided I wanted to try making one for dinner. We don't usually end up getting to have fancy dinners at home as both of us work full-time. But I found some time today to cook something up. It was a recipe for pulled pork sandwiches. But the pork wasn't actually pork. Instead it was jackfruit. He seemed a little stressed about work, but I showed him the surprise dinner. And that seemed to help his mood out. He ate it happily, and even complimented my cooking. But when he asked what was in it and when I told him it was a pulled pork sandwich with jackfruit as a meat alternative, he lashed out. He shouted, telling me that he made it clear he was staying a meat eater. I tried explaining that I wasn't trying to turn him into a vegan, but he'd just walked away then. This happened a few hours back, and now he's refusing to talk to me. I feel like I might be the asshole for making him a vegan meal even though he'd made it extremely clear he wouldn't become one. Because even if it wasn't my intention to make him one, I still made a vegan dinner that passed off as one with meat in it. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit. This is a pretty commonly asked question, so I'll just clear it up here. I didn't say it was a pulled pork sandwich. All I had said was that I made some sandwiches for us. Nothing more and nothing less. Not the asshole. Eating a single vegan meal does not make you vegan. That's like saying that I'm a fitness enthusiast because I went to the gym once last year. Info. Does he never eat anything vegan? E.g. fries, an apple, pasta with tomato sauce. Not the asshole as a meat eater. I can never get my head around meat eaters who get mad about being fed something that doesn't have meat in it. Not the asshole. I'm really confused by his reaction. Would he have a similar meltdown about a kosher meal because he didn't want to keep kosher in the future? This is extremely childish on your husband's part. Not the asshole. You made a meal and you both ate the same thing and the same time and he didn't think it was vegan. His reaction seems overblown unless you were selling him on it as pulled pork and only later told him, but even then it's not like you are giving him something he is allergic to. Not the asshole. Having a vegan meal isn't a bad thing. If I was dating a vegan and they made me a meal, my default assumption would be that meal is vegan. Unless we had a separate conversation about it. This is a weird reaction from him. He sounds a little slow and embarrassed. If you, a vegan, made the dinner and ate it with him, he didn't connect the dots. I live a vegan. When she cooks, it's vegan. When I cook, I keep the meat separate so she can eat the majority of the meal as well. Kindness is free. Man shrugging, medium light skin tone. Wait. So your hubby thinks that eating one meal without meat means you are turning him into a vegan. Your hubby has issues that he needs to work on. That is childish on his part. Not the asshole. You didn't tell him it was vegan. True. Sounds like this was dinner that you both ate. So, he saw you eating it. If you, a vegan, are eating it, it must be vegan. Is he really pissed not because you gave him a vegan meal but because he thought he'd gotten you to leave veganism and eat meat randomly? Your husband is an idiot. Eating a vegan meal from time to time doesn't mean you're becoming a vegan. FFS. One doesn't have to consume meat constantly to remain an omnivore. You made a nice dinner that he enjoyed and then he acted like a dick instead of saying thank you. You are not the asshole. Eating a vegan meal doesn't make you a vegan. Does he think you can catch veganism like catching cooties? Not the asshole. Info: I just saw your edit. And I don't understand. If he wasn't told it was meat. And more importantly, you were eating the same sandwich as him. Why on earth would he think the sandwich was made with meat? Did he think you'd suddenly decided to not be vegan and eat a meat sandwich with him? You have to know that you are not the asshole. Your husband is a big ass baby. Would he do the same over a salad? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Give him a stick of beef jerky as a pacifier and tell him he's in timeout until he calms down and apologizes. Not the asshole. You didn't make him a vegan. You made a vegan meal. I'm very much not vegan but still eat vegan meals sometimes. You didn't trick him. Nor did you make him eat SOWMTHING. He is morally opposed to eating. He is being a giant toddler. You made him eat a fruit. You monster JK, not the asshole. I'm sorry but I didn't know that you turn vegan from eating one single plant-based meal. As long as the meal didn't contain anything he is allergic to. You are a big shiny not the asshole but he is really a tar. Not the asshole. You made a meal and ate with him. If he couldn't deduce that the meal was meatless, then he's either not paying attention or not smart enough to extrapolate the answer from the known data. Honestly, his reaction is a massive red flag. Not every meal has to include meat, and losing his mind over it makes me feel like he has other issues he's not addressing. Not the asshole. What a weird way to say thanks for making dinner. I cannot stand grown adults who get pressed over eating a damn vegetable rather than meat for a singular meal. I'm sorry, but wouldn't he assume you made a vegan meal? As you are vegan? That's where I'm confused. Does he expect you to make two different meals for him? Does he try to force his meat eating on you by making food only he can eat? Or does he make two options? IDKY, he is mad. If you are eating it, obviously it is vegan. Meaning it does not have meat. Cold sweat smile. My husband is a carnivore but will gladly eat vegan food I make for myself. I am not vegan but I do enjoy some vegan foods. Not the asshole sounds like a married a baby. Info: had you two previously established a system about who cooks what kind of food? And for whom? Either way your husband is definitely in the wrong for his unhinged reaction. Not the asshole. When he eats mac and cheese. Or like a mushroom pizza. Does he lash out at whomever for making him a vegetarian? Eggs and toast? Honestly, he has rage issues or something. Or hopefully he was crazy stressed and will come to his senses and grovel for forgiveness. Not the asshole. He can make his own dinner. Not the asshole. Because normal omnivores eat spaghetti with pasta sauce, peanut butter and jelly, etc. And they don't have freakouts. If he ate 1 or 2 vegan meals a week, that's still not converting to veganism. That would be saying you forbid meat and dairy in the house. Would I be the asshole for asking that people bring a meal or do a chore when they come to meet my new baby? I am pregnant with my second child. I'm not due for a few more months. But I'm a planner and like to have everything decided ahead of time. I was talking to my husband about how I want to do things differently this go around. When we had our first kid, My doctor told me that if it was at all possible I needed to stay off my feet for the first couple weeks. I'm not sure if this is the standard or if it was because there were some issues with my placenta. And I lost more blood than is considered to be the normal. Everyone who came to meet the baby told me they would be more than willing to hold the baby so that I could get some housework done. I remember feeling so alone and trying to juggle keeping myself fed and bathed while my husband wasn't home. There was a single visitor who showed up with groceries, washed my dishes, and made dinner, all before so much as glancing at the baby. I was so touched I cried. This time we will have a toddler running around that I will also be having to care for. I want to request that visitors make themselves useful in at least a small way, rather than sitting on my couch for hours making harsh comments on the state of my house. DH says that I'm being selfish and that while he doesn't see that I need to play hostess, they will be coming to see the new baby, not to check up on me. I told him if these people genuinely don't care about how I'm doing, I'm not sure I want them around first thing postpartum anyway. He told that was an our outlook. Is he right? Am I just being selfish? Edit: as I'm getting many comments telling me to simply not invite people or not let them in. I am not the one. WHO invited them. My husband invited who he wanted without talking to me about it first. He is the one that called these people and let them into our home. And I am sure it will be the same this time also. Not the asshole in my family. We have a thing we do when someone has a new baby. Wait for them to invite you over. Bring food that is either edible cold like a cold cut platter, or something that can be divided up into several meals like a casserole. Do a chore. Offer to hold the baby while they shower. Shit, take 30 goddamn minutes to sit down and relax or nap. And then after all that is done, leave. You have a husband problem. And you need better friends. Make it very apparent to your husband that no one is invited over if he isn't there to entertain them. If someone shows up, don't answer the door. It's as simple as that. Not the asshole. Here's the real problem. You're only partial. The husband is a total R. Tell him to get off his ass and do some housework. Your part of the problem is not getting him off his ass previously. No. This is between you and your husband. Your husband is not to invite people to your home after your medical event when you will be healing, without asking you first, especially if he isn't going to be home. What? That's crazy. Just don't have people over who come to comment and whatnot. Do not invite them. Period. Asking them to do chores would be judged, and even your husband is not in the same boat. So it would be a losing battle. Saw your update. If they come, then let your husband deal with it. You get some needed rest. YWBTA for demanding guests clean your house. From your edit and comments, it doesn't sound like the guests are the problem. It sounds like it's your husband who is not doing his part. Not the asshole. I have a 6-year-old and a 8-day-old baby. My wife had a second C-section. I don't see eye to eye with my mill, but she came round, cooked food and looked after the baby so my wife can get some sleep. I wake up at 5:30 to tend to my 6-year-old and cook food for the family. A discussion of you expecting food from guests shouldn't occur. It's your husband's duty to make you a meals, do his part around the baby and also the toddler. Your husband is the host. Tell him what needs to happen to host. Figure out your own needs. I need to know 24 hours in advance. I will need 3 hours prior to nap and bathe. He needs to prepare a meal. The common areas need to be clean. I will not be responsible for the toddler during the visit. The visit can't be more than 2 hours at a time. That doesn't interfere with the nap schedule, and I am not obligated to do more than greet the guests and return to my room if it is too much. He wants this. He needs to make it happen. Tell your husband he can fuck off, cause unless he is gonna be there taking care of everything, he shouldn't be inviting people over without asking you if you are up to it. Giving birth in the USA is already dangerous enough with considering the toll on the body, especially when you have a new infant. I would tell your husband this gonna be the deal. You can stay from work to help you out, or he can uninvite everyone and explain to them how, with consideration for you and your Heath, he invited them over. I'm a labor and delivery nurse of many years, and I cannot recommend more to not have visitors for the first few weeks. This is important bonding and breastfeeding time, and getting your older child acclimated. Demand that your husband follow this instruction. If he balks, remind him that he didn't have the baby. You did, and if he doesn't listen and invites people over, go in the bedroom with the baby and close the door and don't come out. Period. No. If they don't offer, you can't ask why WBTA. But you can say no to visitors if you don't feel like it. If you feel like you can't, you have a husband issue. Wait is a meal train for new parents, not a thing anymore. My mother would murder me if I showed up empty-handed to a new parent's house. The guests shouldn't have to be told, it should be expected. God, your husband sucks. Not the asshole. Go take a nap or get out of the house while they are visiting. Use the time for yourself. Your husband and the rude people can watch the kids. You do not need to put up with rude people in your home. Why WBTA? I get where you are coming from. I had my two 22 months apart, but if I, as a friend who was told to stop by, pop in for a few moments and you want to hand me the broom and gloves, I'd be bailing. Not the asshole. If people want to invite themselves into your house just after you've given birth and they're not there to check up on you, then they have no business being there. WTH. Your baby isn't some sort of tourist attraction to come marvel at and push off. Personally, I'll admire your ability to tell people to put themselves to some use or leave you alone until you've recovered from your pregnancy. I wish I had some of that spirit in me. I struggle with accepting help even from my own partner. You're the asshole. NGL. If you're expecting me to punch in when I come visit, I'm just not gonna visit. You want me to watch the kids for a couple hours on Saturday? Do you want to make my visit conditional on which and how many chores I'm going to do while I'm there? Nah. I'll just see ya at Christmas. I'm not going to tell you to your face either. You just probably won't see or hear from me for a while. If your goal is to push family and friends away, this will 100% do the trick. You would not be the asshole, but you'll have to ask in a very tactful way. There's a lot of reason not to have guests as soon as you get home from the hospital. Most of them to do with germs. I would limit your guests that first month or so anyway.